out. But I will do the best with the 15 minutes. Right here in the African History class. Well, my name is Blakk Rasta. Now, as has been advertised, Tina Jones-Savadogo is my guest, and we are about to have a beautiful conversation. She's a Pan-Africanist, an artist, manager, and even more. Today we're going to get into the world of Pan-Africanism, and we're going to be talking Mama T, as she's affectionately called, this writer in the house. Mama T, how are you doing?
I'm great. I'm wonderful. I'm feeling airy today. How are you?
And I know that you are a very, 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 very busy woman.
Yes, Yes, I am.
And in fact, there's supposed to be a press conference, right?
Yes, there's a press conference today. Many of the organizations are going to be represented there who's part of this project of the blind school, deaf school project that we're doing in the Cape Coast.
And you have to sneak out and come in for this interview.
Of course. We cannot leave our Pan-Africanism. We cannot leave our Blakk Rasta.
This is 3FM.
Well, I want to say thank you so much for coming on the show. I do appreciate you. Now, who exactly are you? If somebody's listening to you for the first time, who is Mama T?
Well, Mama T, I've been coming to Ghana since 1993. I attended the University of Ghana, Legon, 93, 94. I came via through my bro Shamsi and my sister Vanessa that's been here for over 30 years. She's part of AAAG. And so I've been active in Ghana periodically here and there. I'm here this time on a mission and endeavor that we're trying to do some things differently, humanitarian. But I'm an entertainer, event planner. I have a company, it's called MBE Consulting, Maximum Black Enterprise. And we do booking, we do talent, Pan-African entertainers. That's my focus. And that's what I focus on. So.
Where are you originally from?
I'm originally from Chicago, Chi-Town in the house.
Oh my God.
This is 3FM.
Mama T is in the house. And of course, she's told you exactly who she is. Now, walk me through your upbringing. What kind of upbringing did you have?
I grew up in Chicago housing projects. Yes, I did. I'm a ghetto girl. That's what they say. But, I've come from that strength. I come from that background. And I say it's a strength because you learn how to deal with the world using certain types of skills that you can apply to the book, but you can also apply, to the community on the yard.
Who was your father? Who was your mother? What kind of work did they do? What kind of upbringing did they give you?
Oh, they gave me a really, really strong upbringing. I'm number 13 of 14 children, one mother, one father. Yes, my parents from the South. And they grew up in the Jim Crow era. And so that's why I'm even more adamant about things and situations, because they grew up in America during a time of segregation, which was a tough time for black people in America.
Tell me about the Jim Crow era. Even though you did not grow up in that era, is it still on in America or is done with?
It's supposed to be done with, but right now it's sort of still on, I would say charismatically. In terms of subliminal, there's a lot of things still going on segregation-wise and what have you. There's some neighborhoods that are still very much integrated and some that's very much so segregated. And that's some of the things that I was going to talk about in terms of my endeavor for Pan-Africanism and why I'm so focused and my mission is so strong on having African artists. I mean Africans everywhere. If you're a black person, you included. And how we need to change the narrative. We need to take that back, and we need to do some things differently going forward.
Tell me about the Jim Crow era. What exactly was it about?
It was very similar to apartheid in South Africa. So there was a time where they had only black can drink from this machines and whites can drink from that machines and black only restaurants and black only, things like that. So it was very, 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 very much segregated, even including the educational programs and projects that they had. It was black only. So that was a very difficult time for black people in America. And we don't want to go back to that.
And you say much of this is still going on in America?
Yes, and it's silent. Some places it's very silent and some places it's not so silent.
And you have been a very vocal person when it comes to things like this.
Yes.
Tell me exactly what you've been talking about.
Yes. Well, my theme is, before I go any further, a lot of my principles and what I believe in is based on Garvey, is based on Malcolm X, People that Nkrumah, I consider myself an Nkrumahist. I really believe that he was on to something for black people, not just for Ghanaians or for Africa, but those of us in the diaspora. In terms of Garyism, the same concept is there in terms of, in terms of Pan-Africanism. And when I say Pan-Africanism, I'm looking at repatriation. You understand? Reparations. You understand? Retribution. So these things are very important, for where we need to get to. And I think we lost some ground somewhere because we're forgetting with music. Music is universal, especially reggae music. That's a music that's sensitive to my heart, and we have to keep hold of that music, of the industry of reggae, because it's like slipping. It's slipping away. It's slipping away from us very, 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 very quickly. And I just want to read you something quick. Rastafarism and its influence. The first thing that comes up, if you Google it, Afrocentricity and Pan-Africanism. Rastafari promotes a sense of black identity and pride, emphasizing connections to Africa and its diaspora. That's number one. And that's the main thing that we're starting to take a seat back on, is what I'm saying. And that's why my mission is so strong. And I'm like, it's time for us to change the narrative. Because I'm in so many groups, I'm in so many meetings, and I'm the only African in the meeting. And I'm like, there's something wrong with that. And this thing touched my heart. When I go and I see places and I hear things, I'm like, we're not taking the lead of something that originated from us. So what's going to happen in terms of identity? Our oppression cannot teach us our identity. So the music has a way of doing that, of bringing us back, keeping us grounded. You understand?
Yeah, right. Marcus Garvey talked about using the music as well to be able to reach out and all that. And I will say something very, 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 very interesting. There was a black man who became president of America. Did he live up to expectation in terms of Pan-Africanism and all that?
No.
He didn't?
No, I think he could have did a lot more, honestly speaking, that he could have done a lot more in terms of for black people. And I think his agenda wasn't an Afrocentric agenda. Let's just put it that way. His agenda was leaning more towards homosexuality, more towards that particular need of gay pride and things of that nature. And there's nothing wrong with that. But at the end of the day, you have to remember who you are. And I can understand in his position, he's a biracial person in America, and he want to make everybody happy. And so how do you make everybody happy? You make the majority, the so-called, the minority who believe they're the majority and they're not the majority, you keep them happy. And so I think it was just a matter of him trying to keep them happy, and we just got put on the back burner.
What are your views on homosexuality?
Is whatever they want to do, that's their thing,
Is it a medical condition, or you think that is just a choice?
It's a choice. And people try to put their agenda and their struggle with the black struggle, and it's a totally different struggle, you understand? Because I'm born black. When you look at me, you know I'm black. You understand? You know that. But when I look at you, I don't know if you're a homosexual, if you're a trans. I don't know what you are. I see you for who you are first. You understand? So the agendas are different. If somebody discriminates against me because I'm black, I know that. But they have to deep dig inside to know if I'm a homosexual or not. You understand? So I don't think those struggles are that alike. But in terms of civil and human rights, yeah, we have some things in common that we can come together and we can, do some things. Because there's many black civil rights artists and activists who were homosexuals that led the struggle.
Black people in America, are they embracing Pan-Africanism the way they should?
No. And they should be more open to Pan-Africanism. And I think there's a fear of what we call today, quote unquote, socialism, because everybody's so down on socialism. And when you think of the ideology of Pan-Africanism, there's a component of socialism. You understand? There's economic empowerment that Garvey talked about, that Malcolm X talked about, that Nkrumah talked about. And, these things are important for us to know and to move forward with. Because we're starting at a disadvantage. You understand? 1,500-year disadvantage. Being enslaved Africans, colonialism, we have disadvantages. You understand? So it's incomparable. You understand? Yes, I.
So, in America right now, there is a new president, and his name is called Donald Trump. Why do you think America voted him back after taking him out?
Well, some people, they want to root for the underdog. And I think because of what happened with the situation, unfortunate situation with his assassination. He had some unfortunate situations and having to go through the court system of America, like any black man would have experienced, in America. He went through that. So he actually had that opportunity. It was an opportunity for him because it got him the presidency. So he had that opportunity to go through the system like some of our people have, even though he's not incarcerated, but he have many, many, many felonies. I can't even count them on both hands, and everything. But yet he's the president of the United States of America. So I think because of the struggles that he dealt with, I think some people felt pity, and they voted out of pity. That's just my opinion. Yeah.
Do you think that white people look down on black people in America, and do black people look down on white people as well?
I think it's kind of equal distance. I think you have your ups and the downs, and that's why I said that we're not quite past that racial barrier thing yet. We're getting there, but we're not totally there 100%. You understand? And with the new administrations and how they're changing things, and they're changing things massively, like for example with the Smithsonian Museum, the African American Museum, they want to get rid of some things there. Those are step backwards. Those are not step forward for black people. You understand? But some black people, they still voted for them, and they don't think that's a major issue yet at this time.
I hear a lot of black people in America talk about racism and how white people are not treating them good and all that. Is it reciprocal?
Reciprocal in the sense that black people not treating white people good?
Yes.
Well, I don't think we have a problem with how we treat white people. I think white people have the problem with us, and I don't think they're a problem for us.
Where is the problem from?
In many, many ways. Because we know our struggle, we know what we went through, and we already know what to expect from them. So those are not new problems. These are same old problems, 500-year-old problems. So we know what to expect. But I think for them, it's the fear they don't know what to expect from us now, because we have gained more knowledge. You understand? We're a lot more wiser. We have had many, many civil rights people and individuals that came forward that fought the struggle, that gave their life for the struggle, and what have you. So they really don't know what to expect from us more than anything.
This is 3FM.
Tell me, Mama T, what is, in your opinion, the biggest problem black people face in America?
The biggest problem black people face in America today is economic disempowerment, unification and mobilization. We have failed to mobilize the way our brothers and sisters did before us. People like Fred Hampton with the Black Panther Party. Angela Davis, the activities that they had going on, they were very mobilized in their structure and how they did things and what have you. And now even with social media, we still fail to mobilize and be organized. And I tell people, if you're not part of an organization, become part of an organization. I've been a member for years of the Pan-African Revolutionary Socialist Party that came out of All African People's Party, Socialist Party, and everything. And so I just feel like we need to find our voice and redefine our voice if we have to. You understand? And so I just think that we need to learn how to mobilize and organize much better. And, there's room for it.
Right. Now, you talked about Marcus Garvey, and Marcus Garvey is a hero in everybody's head in the black world. Marcus Garvey advocated the returning home of black people to Africa, and he initiated a very powerful move, the Black Star Liner and all that. Do you agree with him that we all need to come home to Africa and develop Africa? Do you believe in repatriation? Do you?
Yes, 100%. Return to Africa. Garvey envisioned a return of black people to Africa to build a new nation where they could be free from the oppression of white colonialism. And we have colonialism, neocolonialism, let's put that term into existence, because that's what Kwame Nkrumah called it, neocolonialism. And we have that's very effective in what terms are happening right now politically throughout the world. You understand? And so I feel like that these are important things that Garvey saw ahead of time. And I can understand, I think someone was telling me, because I just got through reading the book again for the 5th time, The Philosophies and the Opinions of Marcus Garvey. And I know that's one of the books that inspired Kwame and Nkrumah also and everything. But it makes a lot of sense today when you look at the environment, the political environment, economic, the world environment.
This is
you understand?
3FM.
And so I just feel like knowing what Garvey was onto, we need to continue that. Black people doing business with black people. You understand? Empowering ourselves economically. And that's how I came about with this Pan-African music thing that I really want to push especially in the Rastafari community, because I see the underpinnings of what's coming. Because most of the promoters are not like me. I just have to make it plain. They're not like me, and we're losing some face there, you know, and everything. I don't want us to be selling our soul for $1, for $1, for a CD, to do any kind of music, any kind of where, because we have to remember the message of the music. It's black identity. It's speaking out against our oppressor. And I'm working with people who I would say who maybe their grandparents or whatever were their oppressor, man. But we have to be cognizant. We have to remember where we come from and where we're going with this music. You understand? And that's
This
even
is
corporately.
3FM.
Because now all of the corporate sponsorship, you can't even get in. If you go to Europe, you go to America, everybody is white corporations. I'm going to make it plain. And they're just taking over the industry and doing what they want to do and picking who they want to do. And having you singing songs that's not even about black liberation or black identity. That's a step backwards for us. That's not going forward. And so we got to remember who we are and where we come from and the messages that we have in this Rasta, in this reggae music. It's very, very important to me.
In the days of Marcus Garvey, it was more difficult to return home to Africa. I mean, he had to get a Black Star liner and so on and so forth. Now it's easier. Why are black people not embracing this and returning home massively to Africa? What's the problem?
It's collective work of responsibility. Like I was saying before, that we're not mobilized in a way that we should be. I mean, we have more rich black people in the world than we did yesterday. You know what I'm saying? But we're not using those resources and funds to put it towards Africa. You know, and this is the land of milk and honey. Why not?
Is 3FM.
And so we have a lot of work that we have to do. And I think this is what Garvey was talking about when he's talking about economic empowerment. It's not just doing small business with each other, but on a larger scale. You understand? And if he had the boat, I mean, we could still do a boat and do a black style boat. I mean, look at all these fancy cruise ships around here. You know what I'm saying? And bring people home.
This is 3FM.
This is where time would allow us to go. I want to say thank you so much, Mama T, for coming on the show. We appreciate you. And we hope that one day we'll be able to have you again so we can have a longer session. Thank you for coming on the show.
Indeed. Thank you for having me. I appreciate everything, Aya.
For real.
Respect.